of
Well, I thought Mr. Trump won a big victory tonight. He really knocked her out on all the key points on the domestic economy. He was much clearer that he would create growth, and all she would do is raise taxes over and over again. He was much clearer on how he would defeat Islamic terrorism. She was pretty unclear on the fact that she sort of helped create it, particularly ISIS. I think this issue of accepting the results of the election, you just have to go back to Al Gore, who was a Democrat who didn't accept the results of the 2000 election because it was so darn close.
But isn't this
creating
more uncertainty?
Well, given the level of cheating that the Clintons do, to just willy-nilly say you're going to accept the result of the election before you know what the numbers are and where they come from would be kind of naive. The Clintons are well-known cheaters. They are extremely dishonest. The WikiLeaks revelations of yesterday pointed out that they were paying money to people to create violence at his rallies. Anybody that would go to that extent to affect an election, when you have cities like Philadelphia, Cleveland, Chicago, places where you have dead people on the ballot. It's well known in Philadelphia that people are bussed in to vote. There have been periods of time in which there have more people voting than people registered. So,
did it change any results? I mean, it wasn't a
well,
massive
it doesn't change results in a big election. It does change results in a close election. So if it's a 500 vote election, it could change the result. If it's a 2 million election, it doesn't change the result.
The next 20 days, what will it bring? The next 20 days.
The next 20 days, I think, will be a lot of talk about what you heard about today, what he wants to do for America, which is to bring back jobs with a program that combines tax reductions for everyone, not just the rich, everyone, biggest tax reduction for the middle class, major corporate reduction so the corporations come back, a small 10% tax for repatriation of money, so that comes back to the U.S., and renegotiating terrible agreements like NAFTA, which has taken jobs from Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana. All of that will create a growth economy. What Mr. Trump should have mentioned, did in the last debate, this is a model that comes from Ronald Reagan and John Kennedy. He hasn't made it up. John Kennedy did this and Ronald Reagan did this, and we had 8 or 9 years of growth. What she's proposing is essentially a socialist model, which is government will take care of you. She's going to replace Obamacare with what she told the Canadian bank is socialized medicine like in Canada. That'll bankrupt us. I mean, her economic program is frightening. And then I thought he made it very, very clear that she is the person, along with Barack Obama, that made ISIS possible by withdrawing precipitously from Iraq, thinking they were the JV, underestimating them, and not really taking up the cause at an early stage before ISIS grew into an organization that is now in 30 countries with 1,000 investigations in the United States. And for her to say that she's going to take Syrian refugees into the United States, and that the answer to that is that we already have terrorists in the United States who come from the United States, so what's the difference, was the stupidest answer I have probably heard in a presidential debate.
Mayor, did this...
That's like saying we have murderers here in the United States, so let's bring in some more murderers from outside the United States, and that'll fix the problem.
Mayor, did you feel the statement that he said, bad hombres? Do you think that hurts him in the Latin community as far as votes go?
No, that's a term that's used. There are some people that are bad, there are some people that are good. In every community, so I don't think it hurts him. Everybody's sensitive over every word now, and the one thing that's refreshing about Donald Trump is he's not politically correct, and he doesn't feel this tyranny of political correctness that if you say one word that offends one person, everybody goes into some kind of a silly, I think, holier than thou reaction.
He feels a lot of things are rigged. How do you feel about him saying that, about this election being rigged?
Oh my goodness, do I think it's rigged? When Hillary Clinton gets questions before the debate and Bernie Sanders does it, that's not rigged? When, by the way, the woman who did that should be fired. Donna Brazile was both working for CNN and she was the deputy director of the Democratic National Committee. So don't tell me CNN isn't part of the Democratic Party. Donna Brazile has an email in which she says that she does get questions in advance and would make them available to Mrs. Clinton. And she did make a question available to her that was the exact question that was asked. For that, Donna Brazile should be fired by CNN She should be fired by the Democratic National Committee. And if I were Bernie Sanders, I'd be pretty darn angry that my opponent got a question and I didn't. They call that giving the questions before the exam, like when I was in school, they used to call that cheating.
People are upset that he said he won't accept the election and the results.
That's what the Clintons do. They cheat.